Hey, chosen ones, how are you guys doing? So, I was working and all of a sudden I had this flashback and I was like, I need to record a video on this. And this is me releasing all my, trauma and past hurt from my narcissistic, abusive marriage that I was in. And so it's just made me feel a bit kind of like a bit sad. But at the same time, I realized that it has all added to who I am as a person. And so it's not a bad thing. It's just me feeling these feelings and then letting go. And so if you are experiencing narcissistic abuse currently, or you have, it's really important that you don't suppress the feelings that you feel after the discard, or after they've discarded you, or after you've discarded them. It's really important because you have to feel these feelings to be able to release it. And that's why they keep bubbling up. So in my case, I was just sitting here working and I thought about the moment that I realized my ex was a narc. And I think the reason why I'm feeling so emotional is because it is such a traumatic thing to realize that your husband is actually a narcissist. How, like, scary is that? How concerning is that? Um, and for me, it didn't happen to after years and years and years and years and years of being married. Okay, we were married like 9 years, together for 12. Okay, and so it was closer to maybe eight years that I realized this. And even then, it was like I still wasn't sure. But I remember maybe the first year of our marriage, me questioning a lot of things, me being so confused about his character and his inconsistency that I started looking things up. And what popped up was narcissism, narcissist. And at that point, it was like, this is ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. There's no way this guy can be a narcissist. Fast forward quite a few years, and it turned out that was the case. Okay. And so, how did I notice he was a narcissist? Well, there were several things. Really and truthfully, you cannot diagnose somebody as a narcissist. Okay, it has to be done by a psychologist. But there are commonalities between all narcissists. They do the same thing, they act the same way. And I've done a previous video where I spoke about the fact that I believe narcissism is spiritual because of what it involves and what they do and who they are. It's just all demonic. Okay, but I must add as well that they say all of us have narcissistic tendencies because we have an ego, right? And so we have narcissistic tendencies, but obviously a narcissist will have all the tendencies of a narcissist. Okay, but in his case, it was just extreme, real extreme. And so before that day, I noticed the tendencies. I noticed all the kind of behavioral traits of a narcissist. And it was like, oof, And then I started binge watching videos on narcissism on YouTube. So I started binge watching all the videos about narcissism and what you would experience and how you feel and what they do and how they behave. And everything was coming to light. Okay. But then something happened. And it was, we had a house, right? We had a house abroad. And my ex was the one that was working at that point. So there was an extreme case of like financial abuse as well, because I was looking after our newborn baby. And he didn't want to give me any money. He didn't want to, like, everything was just like so limited. Like, we hardly had food in the house. It was really bad. Okay, really, really bad, to the point that we were so broke, and we didn't have to be broke because he was earning ridiculous amounts of money. And so he was paying the mortgage to our home abroad. And he was like, oh, I don't want to do it anymore. I don't want to do it anymore, blah, blah, blah. So I said to him, okay, well, what about if I considered to buy it? Because he wanted to sell the property. And I said, well, what about if I considered to buy the property? And he was like, well, no, I don't want you to buy the property. And I was like, well, why? If you don't want to pay for it, I'm going to buy it and then have it in my own name. I'm going to find a way to pay for it. Maybe I'll get family members to pay or somebody to help or whatever. And he was like, no, no, no. What if I want to buy it? What? You've already said it's a property between us. You already said you don't want it. You don't want to pay for it. And because I've said I wanted to buy, and it was all a test to see what he was about, what he was doing. So it was like, I've said I will buy it because you don't want to have it anymore. You want to sell the property. And as soon as I say I want to buy it, you want to buy it now. But we're together, we're married. So why would you not want to just keep it with between us, and so that when I go back to work, we continue to pay? He didn't want that. So at that point, I thought to myself, so you are willing to cut off your nose to spite your face. It's not that you don't want the property, you just don't want me to have it. You don't want me to be successful. So it wasn't that he wanted to buy the property, he just didn't want me to buy the property. And I just realized at that point that this guy did not want anything good for me. He didn't want me to grow in any way. When he met me, I was going to the gym, I was working out consistently. After we got married and I didn't have enough money to pay for gym membership because I was at home with our children, he said he wouldn't allow me to go to the gym because he didn't want other men to look at me. Now, if your wife has just had a child and she wants to work out and look good, wouldn't you want to support that if you want her to become her best self? But guess what? He didn't want that. He wanted to suppress me and stample on me and keep me in a place where I was like, I had lost all confidence and I needed him to survive. He didn't want me going out with friends and family. He always wanted me to stay at home whilst he would go out and do all the cheating and all of that kind of stuff. He didn't want me to have a life, okay? He didn't want me to go back to work so quickly all of a sudden, you know? After we had agreed that I would go back to work, but I was going to have a break so I could stay at home and get to know my own children, because I had worked ever since I had had the kids, and it was like, okay, I need a break, okay? And then at some point, he was asking whether or not I would consider us moving to a completely different town up north of England, just to get away from my friends and family. So he just wanted to destroy me. And it was all these little things that kind of resulted in me realizing that he was a narcissist. And it was like a confirmation for me, because like, love is kind, you know, love does not want to hurt you. It does not want to harm you, right? But the way he would say he loved me, but then everything he did was to kind of hurt and harm me, that was a really solid indicator that he didn't love me and he was narcissistic as well. And so it was such a shame, because I had given him everything. I had given him my all. I had used my savings, my everything for him to be able to come over to this country, to be able to get a good job. And he just wanted to destroy me. So it's really sad, but that's the reality of it. And I know that I will meet somebody who will now treat me right, who will now appreciate who I am. And I now know what I'm looking for, and I know what I will never go back to. So he was my biggest lesson. It's not a bad thing. I see it as one of the best things that could have ever happened to me. Really is. It's definitely not nice being a single mother. But that is the result of, you know, being in a narcissistic marriage and not staying in it and not being defeated by it. I'd rather be single with my children and have peace and freedom, and then be able to grow up in a safe environment, instead of them growing up in a toxic environment and them thinking it's okay to stay when you are being abused emotionally, physically, psychologically, financially. So, chosen ones, I really wanted to share this video today. It was just something on my heart. And I have hope. I'm so excited about what the future has to hold, actually, because I believe that God will bring the right people into your life, into my life. And I'm ready for that now. I'm open for that. So, chosen ones, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful afternoon, even wherever you are. I'm a bit kind of somber today because of this, but I feel good and I'm ready for moving on. And so, yeah, have a wonderful day wherever you are, and I'll see you in my next video. Take care, chosen ones. Bye.